So welcome to everybody. Welcome to Flinders University and your first semester at Flinders University. And hopefully it started well. You've had a good tour of the building and you're all familiar. We're going to go through a few things today, meet a few people, listen to a few talks and try and get you on track for making this a nice, smooth transition into Flinders. But first of all, I'd like to make an acknowledgement of country, to pay the respects to the traditional custodians on the land that we meet, the Kaurna people, and I'd like to also acknowledge and pay respect to the elders of land, both past, present and emerging. Okay, a bit of a content screen here. We've got a little welcome from me, as we've had now. Then we'll have a bit of an introduction to our Vice President and Executive Dean, Professor Alastair Rendell, and then we'll hear from the Dean of Education, Professor John Roddick. Then we're going to have a little bit of a meet and greet of all of your course coordinators and support staff for you guys coming into semester 2. We're going to have a nice chat from Bill about from the SAS team about your enrolment and how to go about enrolling and who you need to talk to and where you can get advice. And then we're going to hear from our alumni and also a past student. And then we're going to listen to a bit about some peer support. And hopefully at the end, if we've got a little bit of time, we'll have some questions that have been posted online or from the audience that we can answer. And then we might have, if we've got a little bit of time at the end of all that, we might have a bit of a chit-chat with some of the past students as well. But for now, I'll pass you over to Alastair.
So thank you, Carl. And I'm not quite wearing the same things that I got on the photo. Maybe the same jacket. So my name is Alastair Rendell. So I have the pleasure of being the Dean responsible for the College of Science and Engineering. So welcome to Flinders University and welcome in particular to the College of Science and Engineering. As Carl mentioned, we are meeting on Kaurna land and I would like to acknowledge the elders past, present and emerging. So the College of Science and Engineering is one of 6 colleges across the university. So Science and Engineering we're split between the activities which take place here at Tonsley and also up at Bedford Park. Have you all been up to Bedford Park? Or what's it like? Dreadful place. It was very cold up there, much warmer down here actually. So up at Bedford Park we have more on the science side. So we have the biology, chemistry, physics, environmental side, and then down here we have the engineering and computing and mathematics side. So I have an original background which began in chemistry, but I ended up being responsible for computer science at the ANU before I came here. So I feel perhaps a little bit more at home down at Tonsley. Welcome. You have come to one of 6 colleges across the university. Undeniably, we are the best of the colleges. You come here and you will mingle with your academics, and we have an academic who was South Australian Educator of the Year. We have an academic who won the Prime Minister's Prize for Innovation last year. We have another academic who has been South Australia's Scientist of the Year. So you will get to meet your lecturers and staff who have distinguished themselves in various fields. So we, as a college, believe in the power of technology to solve real-world problems. So be that you're working on an environmental or problem, be that whether you're a forensic scientist, a biomedic person, or working in intelligent infrastructure or on computational software. So our job is to equip you with the knowledge and skills and the confidence to embrace the problems which exists now, but also to prepare you for unforeseen problems, so things that we have not even thought about at this point. Amongst our alumni, particularly from down here, we count Rodney Brooks. Rodney Brooks is very well known in the field of AI and robotics, and he is responsible for the technology which was behind the Mars rover. So this is one of the alumni from here went away and designed the rover which has been pottering around Mars. This could be you. Our name, the university is named after Matthew Flinders. Does anyone know who Matthew Flinders was? Beyond the staff. Hopefully the staff know who it is. No one know who Matthew Flinders was? Pardon? He was an explorer. So he lived from 1774 until 1814. So he lived for just 40 years. He came from the UK. He made 3 voyages to the Southern Ocean. He charted much of South Australia, so working out the Gulf St Vincent's and the Spencer Gulf, he charted all of that. He sailed up to the end, expecting there to be an inland sea, and found that it was a marshy swamp at the end. He was very distinguished. He achieved all of this really when he was in his 20s. He is famed for saying that neither birth nor fortune have favoured me. So he was not born into high society in the UK. He was not born into a house of wealth. But he said, my actions shall speak to the world. So he will be known by what he did and what he achieved, regardless of his background. And he achieved a lot in a very short lifetime. So the university itself is between 50 and 60 years old. It's the founding vice-chancellor of the university is famed for quotes for saying that the university, you come to Flinders University, and we will experiment bravely. So Flinders University is about embracing the challenges, and so my encouragement to you is to take on the difficult challenge, embrace all that the university has to offer, and build the connections. So it's who you know, and which will be hugely important as you progress in your career. And finally, remember, again a famous quote, remember that education is what is left when all that you have learned has been forgotten. So it's not what you learn by rote, but it's the process by which you go about learning that and the structure that is so critical. So welcome to Flinders University, and welcome in particular to the College of Science and Engineering. So with that...
Slide, John's next.
Is he dressed in the same? No, he looks different.
Welcome. I'd like to add my welcome to you all. Welcome to Flinders University. Welcome to the Tonsley campus. Welcome to Science and Engineering. My name's John Roddick. Basically, if things go wrong, the first people you should really talk to are Carl and NASA. And if they can't solve it, you come to me. And if I can't solve it, then Alistair gets involved. But we hope that never happens. Your journey, the next 3, 4, 7 years of your life at Flinders University really starts today. And you'll be sitting in this lecture theatre, partly online, doing exciting things which will change your life. This is going to be a life-changing experience for you. And so in many ways, your future starts here. Some of you will work in the classroom, some of you will work online, but at the bottom of this is that we're here to help you. We're here to help you succeed, whatever definition you have of success. Now, your definition of success might be getting a piece of paper with your name on it and the words Bachelor of something written across it. Your definition of success might be getting a high-paid job. your definition of success might be having a really good time for 3 years. My definition of success was all of those things. And I'm pretty sure that some combination of those will be your definition of success. The bottom line is that we're here to help you succeed. And whether that's through, you're going to find problems as you go through. Whether you have financial problems, whether you have study problems, whatever problems you have, there are people here to help you. And so please, if you do get problems, please reach out and access all the support services that are here to help you. Flinders, and in particular the College of Science and Engineering, has an enviable reputation for the way in which we connect with industry. If you go on to government websites, if you go on to, there's a website, compared.edu.au, go onto that website. You can compare Flinders' outcomes of any course, of any discipline, against other universities and their disciplines teaching the same. And you'll see from that that the employment outcomes of Flinders are brilliant. And they're certainly far better than they are at the other two institutions up the road there. And partly that's because almost all of you will actually end up on a work integrated learning, a practicum. For engineers, you'll do it in third year. For computing, third year. You'll go out and you'll spend time in industry. You'll take what you've learnt here and you'll go and practice it. And about 40 to 50% of the students come back from that practicum with a job offer. And for the engineers, they've still got a year to go before they graduate. But they come back with a job offer that says, once you graduate, come and talk to us, we'll find you a job. And that really helps. Attending uni is more than just about study. So there are student societies, and I really do encourage you to get involved with the student societies. There's the Flinders University Society of Engineers. There's the unfortunately named Flinders University Computing Society. The Choral Society has exactly the same problems. There's also a new science club, Flask, that's just been set up for those people who might be doing a combined degree with a science. As Alistair said, you'll spend a lot of your time at Tonsley, but you may also spend some time at Bedford Park. Bedford Park is a beautiful campus, just one, when they're working, one train stop away. And in first year undergraduate, will spend some time at Bedford Park doing maths topics and so on. I think that's about all I want to say. Really, welcome to Flinders. If you need help, if you have any problems, please contact us. In particular, if you have problems with your study, please see your topic coordinator, please see your lecturers. If you have problems with really anything that is to do with, that's getting in the way of you being able to study to your full potential, then please talk to us. There are lots of people, and I think Carl is going to introduce you to some of those now. So welcome to Flinders Uni.
Okay, well, that's all the really important people out of the way. Now we'll get on to the less important people, the ones that you're going to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis, perhaps, or sometimes on a less frequency. So in the Computing and Mathematical Sciences teaching program, these are the main people that you'll be dealing with, or that are associated with the topics that you'll be dealing with. So we might get them up just so that we can see them as well as just their pictures. So we have Associate Professor Greg Falzon. He's our head of ICT. He's sort of looks over the overarching program. Then there's myself, Dr. Carl Mooney. I look after the Bachelor of Information Technology, for those of you who are studying that program. I'm also the Teaching Program Director, so I look after allocations of teaching across the program. Dr. Brett Wilkinson, he looks after the Master of Information Technology, and for anybody who's doing undergrad here, he also looks after the Bachelor of IT and Game Development. So if you've got a penchant to move into games or serious games. Then we have Dr. Saeed Rahman. Where's Saeed? He looks after the Master of Information Technology Network and Cyber Security, and also the undergrad version of that. And Hayden, where's Hayden? Hayden looks after the mathematical sciences, and he's also the Deputy Teaching Program Director. So they're the people that are looking after your course, okay? Underneath those people, you'll have particular topics that you undertake, and they have topic coordinators. So whoever's looking after your topic is your first point of call to resolve any problems. After that, then you've got anything you want to change the structure of your course or have a look at the topics that you might want to do, you go to your course coordinator. After that, if you still need some other assistance, you can come to me. And then, as John said, if I can't resolve it or NASA can't resolve it, then you go to John. But they're the people that you really need to keep in mind, have a look at them. They'll be floating around, always willing to chat about this, that and the other, and talk about your program of study. Now, in the engineering, there's a lot more because there's a lot more flavours of engineering. There's a few more people. The head of engineering, Rocco, is Rocco here or is he? He was here. Handsome gentleman. You'll see him wandering around. Civil engineering. He's into transport and things like that. Reza Hashimi, he looks after mechanical engineering, and I do know I was talking to a young lad before that's doing mechanical. Thomas is also civil engineering. He's overseas at the moment, unfortunately. NASA, Asghari, he's electrical, electronics, robotics, and he is the teaching program director for the engineering and design teaching program. Pepe Velasquez, who's the guy who's in charge of design. You'll see him also teaching some other engineering topics. Carl Samet is not here either. He's busy. He's after maritime. And David, who's here in his capacity as biomed, I believe. And engineering science as well for those students that are enrolled in that. So quite a few people that you can go to, and if you go to any of these people that I've just shown here, they will be able to put you onto the right person to go and see for your concerns. So if you see somebody wandering around that looks like a staff member, just go up and ask them. And they'll put you onto the right person at the right time. Now, there are some other people that we're going to have liaison here. Jose Paulino, who's down the back, if you want to all turn around, or he might come down and say hello. He is the manager of the International Student Services, and they are going to have a presence down here at Tonsley every day, is it, Jose? For 4 weeks, and then a little bit more spazzy. So if you've got any issues to do with anything international, if you're an international student, there will be a presence in the school office, I believe, upstairs on level 3 that you can go and get assistance for there. We also have 2 other people involved. Jonathan, who will be looking after from a student academic support capacity. He's also teaching a few topics. And Eleanor, who's also looking after student experience support. To give you guys a bit of collegiate grouping, I guess, and get some events happening for you to sort of make you feel a lot more welcome and a lot more included in what's going on in this building. Because it can be a little bit stark, but we can make it fun. So university is about fun, not just about study. Okay, so Bill is going to talk to you now about enrolment issues.
All right, so my name's Bill. I'm the course advisor here at Tonsley. I look after the 2 teaching programs here, so engineering, design, IT, computer science and mathematics. And it's basically my job to ensure that you enrol in the right topics in your degree to finish. So I split my time between Tonsley and Bedford Park. So I'm on level 3 in the school office, and then also I'll be from next week, there occasionally at Bedford Park in the Anchor Court in the College of Science and Engineering's new office. So basically you come to me if you have any questions about what topics to enrol in, if you're meeting the prerequisites for your future topics, if you want to add another degree on or get credit, go overseas, things like that. So my first tip is, so just click all. Okay. You really need to get familiar with your course rule. So your course rule is basically the layout for your whole degree, and it tells you the requirements of your degree. So for example, if you're in an honours course, it might have a clause in there about you need to meet a certain GPA to progress to the honours level. So really get to know your course rules. And we've also created things called study planners. So study planners are that grid there. It just lays out your topics in a really nice way to really interpret it well. As long as you follow that and don't deviate from that, you'll be all good. The next thing is Ask Flinders. So Ask Flinders is an information portal that you can access from your dashboard. And it has just general information about student admin in there, but also you can lodge cases through there. So if you have a question about can you swap a topic out in your degree for another one, you'd use Ask Flinders, and that would come through to the college, and it would come through to me, and I'd communicate through that to you. And lastly, so the college has a course advice drop-in session, so it was momentarily paused for COVID, but now from next week we are instigating it. So it's located at Bedford Park in the Anchor Core office. It will be there every day, 11:30 till 1. And you can just come see myself or my colleagues Aaron and Tash. And Aaron and Tash are located at Bedford Park, and they'll be able to help you there as well. Or you can just call us. That's my phone number. Or you can just email the college. Well, that's pretty much it.
So yeah, very friendly bunch. So certainly the course planners are really, really important things for you to get and have a look at, because there are some issues sometimes with students sort of thinking that they can enrol in this or enrol in that in sort of any particular order, and then, you know, a semester down the track we find that, oh, hang on a minute, we can't do what we really want to do to finish our degree. So having a look at those course planners and those course rules is really, really important, and getting your head around them. And if you've got any questions about the progression through your course at all, go and talk to the course coordinators that I put up before. They will keep you on track. They will tell you that, yes, you can do this, or no, you can't. It's really, really important. Now, when you're on campus, there is a thing called EduRoam. It is a free Wi-Fi, free to everybody. Your fan, everybody's got a fan, yes? Everybody knows their fan because you've all already logged into the student dashboard, haven't you? Yes, this is good. I can see lots of nods, which is a good thing. We started on the right foot. So that's your university, your username to get into EduRoam, and then your university password, which is associated with your fan. Not your student number, nothing like that. Fan and password will get you onto EduRoam. Now, there is some issues with some devices. There always is, because that's the nature of what happens when you try and connect to things. So if you do need any more information, certainly contact or go to that website. And there are some good how-tos on there, and also some information on who you can contact to actually get you on. So this is for your phone, for your laptop, anything when you're on campus, okay? A lot of some services that we have in some of our teaching programs require you to be on that wireless network for you to access some stuff for you to look at. It's free, so you might as well use it. I mean, we all like data, but we've all got to pay for it. We might as well get the university to pay for it because we paid our fees, yeah? That's the easiest way to go. Flinders alumni. Yes, we are up to Flinders alumni. So we've got a talk now from a Flinders alumni.
Yeah, hello, welcome to everyone. I feel funny coming as an alumni because it feels like it wasn't very long ago that I was actually sitting exactly where you are right now. And I have a bit of a funny background. I started in mathematics, but I've really worked across many areas of biology and engineering and physics. So I was asked to come here today and talk a little bit about, I guess, how I started out, what my experience was like at Flinders, and sort of any advice I might have for you as you go through your degree, and some things you might have to look forward to as you study. So how did I actually get started in mathematics? And I'm going to pop up a photo here, which is probably not what you would expect. And that is this. I was a swimmer. I was really into swimming and also really into diving. And I had some idea that maybe I would go and do marine biology at some point. And probably when I was young, I had visions of, field work on tropical beaches and, some kind of orange slushy or something. But as I got older, I realized I really quite liked mathematics, and I thought maybe I'd go into fisheries modeling or food webs or something along those lines. But then I realized I really needed some mathematics to be able to do that. So when I started, I was in a general science degree, but I thought, I'll be doing all of this biology and maybe a little bit of mathematics, like down the bottom on the side. But as I started, I realized, well, if I really want to do this, I'm going to have to do more mathematics to become actually really good at this. And in the end, this is sort of what my degree ended up looking like. And this is all to say that, as Carl was just saying, it's okay if you start and you kind of discover new things and you get new ideas, you go and talk to your course coordinators, you find what you're passionate about, and you let it go where it leads you. But as long as you're doing all in the scope of your course and guidelines. So in the end, I did mostly mathematics, but I also did some engineering and physics, a bit of computer science, and a bit of biology that was a little bit more like physics, so looking at maybe how fluid mechanics impact how, say, dolphins were hunting. And now I'm going to sort of talk a little bit like we were saying, well, Flinders, #1 from 3 institutions. We have the College of Science and Engineering, which is, of course, the best college that we have at Flinders. And not that I'm biased at all, I wouldn't say that. But as a mathematician, this wonderful comic from Randall Munro, if you're not familiar with XKCD, it's a wonderful webcomic all about science and many other things. And for all of you being here studying computer science or engineering or mathematics, it's great because these disciplines are needed in almost every area. So that gives you so many opportunities and so much flexibility for the future. And whilst maths can obviously plug into everything, so does computer science and engineering. For example, there's so much computational biology that goes on, there's so much computational chemistry. And in engineering, I'm sure many of you have seen in the last few weeks the extraordinary images that are coming out from NASA and the James Webb Telescope. So all of these things are potential and these opportunities that you will be able to look at in future as you're moving through your degree and beyond. But the question is, how do you, find those opportunities? And how did I sort of seek this out throughout my degree? And, it can be quite daunting, this idea of just, going up to the professors and knocking on doors, and it feels like cold calling. I found it really awkward. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, as you start settling in, it's a very new environment. Once you're into a bit of a routine with your courses and you know how things are working, head along to the college seminars, maybe the formal ones, possibly the informal ones that often run through the TAV, and start to sort of see what research is happening just here and at Bedford Park. Maybe reach out to some of your lecturers if you're really enjoying what's going on, and see if you can go along to some lab meetings. And lab meetings are great because there's maybe 5 to 15 people, and you can sit down and you can observe. You don't actually have to understand everything. You don't have to know everything. There'll be some honours students, there'll be PhD students, postdocs like me, and the professors, and you're going to get to see all the research that's happening. And this is good because, as we've been just hearing, as you go through your degree, you're going to have a research placement or an industry placement. And if you're already familiar with the sorts of things that are out there, it means that you're able to actually find things that you're really passionate about, and you go into the right places the first time around. And for me, I happened to have my first main research placement with Jim Mitchell. He's an oceanographer, but he's also here in nanotech and engineering and various other areas. And he was really interested in a project on diatoms. And I'll give you a really quick rundown. They're tiny tiny organisms, microscopic, and they build this little glass shell around them. And what he wanted me to do was see what happens when they're in the water, how nutrients are sort of flowing in and out of those tiny holes, which are nanometer sized. And because they're so small, weird things happen, so you have to look at it through modelling. And this was really great, because I started on this project. Truthfully, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing, but I got some results. It looked all right. So I got to go to Melbourne and meet an engineering team there that was doing some experiments. I also got to speak at Port Lincoln. And then I did a summer project where we expanded on that a little bit more. And that worked really well. So guess what? I got invited to go and speak in LA at Jim's former research group. And that was going really fantastically. I also got to visit the John DeBerry lab, where they study, it's a big engineering group, where they study the fluid mechanics of swimming animals. I got to see the La Brea tar pits, which was fantastic. We got to even go in the back section where you see all the researchers and how they're reconstructing all the skeletons. And then I went on to my honours, continuing on the same work, and I got invited to go to Aspen and a conference in Aspen on biophysics. And this was all from that one research placement that just gradually built up and built up. And I guess I could have kept going with that, but okay, I'm distracted, I have a short attention span. So I thought, oh, there's still more things I can do. And I really did want to keep learning some mathematics. So I started working as well with Yoshi Fila, who's now retired, but he was a professor here at Flinders. And Jim had a question about how turbulence might be impacting the energy cost of swimming animals. And that was fantastic because Yoshi was then able to help me build a model about that. So we were working all together as a team, and I managed to create a model with the guidance of Yoshi. And well, I'm sure you can see where this is going. I presented that in Sydney, then at Yoshi's group in Brisbane, and then I got to go to Hobart at a conference there, and then at another conference in Wellington. And this was just amazing. So this one project had just built and built and built. And I met someone in Hobart who said, oh, I'm organising a conference in Spain. I think I'd quite like you to come and talk about this work there. So I got to go to Spain. And look, you may all be sitting there going, oh, my goodness, like I couldn't possibly do this. But the thing is, it doesn't just magically happen. And as you're going through all of these sorts of things, you're going to make mistakes all the time. It's just a part of science. And I remember, well, for example, I remember being in an exam, and I thought it was 3 pages long, but it happened to be 4 pages long. So I only did 3 pages of that exam, and these things just happen. And the thing is, you've just been hearing about the wonderful support services that are here at Flinders. And what you can do is, go and chat to your friend, chat to a mentor, chat to the student services, pick yourself up, dust yourself up, and have another go. Because the thing is that, when you start seeing people like me come and speak, or these many amazing lecturers we have at Flinders, or you're hearing about the Mars rover, it seems all very out of reach. But you're hearing about all the success and the achievements. You're not hearing about all the times things didn't quite go to plan. So you're going to face a lot of challenges through university, through your careers, and through life. And the important thing isn't really for achievement, it's not about the fact that you don't have challenges. It's about the fact, how you're going to react and respond to them, and also how you move forward after that happens. And the thing is, I had many difficulties on all of these projects, but I was really lucky because there are a lot of people around who were there to help. And when I got stuck, I went and asked someone who knew more than me. And from there, everything just kept building. And on a similar vein, I was working with Jim and Yoshi for my PhD, and I was really, really fortunate, mostly due to their support, that I was awarded a Fulbright, which allowed me to go to Boston and work on network science. And the reason we were looking at network science is because biological networks were becoming very important in Jim's group. She was a graph theorist, so there's the mathematics that underpins network science. And when I went to Boston, I started working with Nima Damami. So it's a bit of a bad joke. I had a biologist, a mathematician, and a physicist for my PhD. But it was fantastic because I got all these different perspectives and I was learning all these different skills from all of them. And the culmination of the work in Boston, extraordinary group, I'm going to say many tens of wonderful scientists, all of whom I had to go and ask questions to build this project, was this picture, actually. And what this is actually showing, it is essentially the metabolic organisation of almost every living organism on the planet. And what it means is that if things are coloured similarly to each other, it means they're closely related. And the actual clustering behaviour is on what metabolism and what processes they undertake in their bodies. And again, based on this project, I was invited to go to New Zealand, to Perth, went back to San Diego, and then I spent several months in Europe. Austria, Italy, France, and the UK. And at this point, it was March 2020. Maybe time to come back to Australia, just possibly. So I got on a plane and came back. I started with a picture about marine biology. And I'd finished my PhD, so I had to look for a job. And I guess I liked Flinders so much that I came back to Flinders. I had a lot of offers, actually. Because I'd done so much mathematics, I was considered to be very versatile. I'd worked in engineering and physics and biology. And I actually ended up at Bedford Park, actually, in the FAME lab with Liz Dinsdale and Rob Edwards. That's not me, that's my colleague Mike. And I was working on some data science and computational biology for them. And then I heard about the new research group here, the Centre for Defence Engineering Research and Training. And there's a physicist, Professor Sam Drake, who's very interested in relativistic effects and GPS. And I was given a wonderful opportunity to join that group where I've started to work on modelling satellite orbits, areas of electromagnetic radiation. And I'm just going to say, again, this is an area I've never worked in before. I don't have background in some of those fields. But the thing is, the skills and the experience and the mathematics I'd learned have meant that I've been able to join that research group and again am moving into engineering. And throughout all of this, I just want to say that it hasn't been a solo effort. And when you're here, you're going to meet a lot of people, you're going to make friends, there's going to be some wonderful research groups you can participate in. And all of those people are going to be of help. So if there's anything that you're really interested in about mathematics and you have a free spare electives, I'd encourage you to reach out to Michael Haythorpe or Hayden Tronalone, who's here. You can always send me an email. But there's going to be counterparts in all the other areas of computer science and engineering that you can do this for. And just to give you an idea, these are all the people who helped me over the course of 4 or 5 years. It's just a snapshot. I can't possibly list everyone. But it's really a team effort. And whether you end up in academia or industry, you're going to be working collaboratively. So I think it's a really great time for you to start thinking about that now. Find the people you like to work with, get some good study groups, reach out to the student societies, get active on campus, and be open to new ideas. Most of all, I would say, welcome to Flinders. And welcome to a future of possibilities.
Just like to introduce you to Thomas, who's going to talk to you 5 years in 5 minutes.
Welcome, everyone, and thanks, Jody. I don't know how to follow that. Really, really impressive stuff. I'm going to be giving you a bit of a snapshot throughout my journey through uni. So I am a biomedical engineer. I graduated a few years ago. I then went to work as a data scientist for 2 years and then came back to do my PhD, which is my first year at the moment. So this is a bit of a rapid fire of my undergraduate. And what I want to highlight is that even though I was biomedical, I was pure biomedical, so I did an honours and a master's in the same specialty, that actually gave me flexibility to trial different topics, expand into different electives that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. So starting with pure biomechanical here, so looking at a walking frame with a customised spring brake system. So the intention was when you're going down a hill, it doesn't kick out, it's meant to lock. And then we had a 3D printed prosthetic chicken leg for Tipsy, the chicken who was a little bit unsteady on her feet. So combination of biomedical engineering as well as modelling, doing a bit of force prediction, and 3D modelling and 3D printing as well. Very much in the biomedical side here, I created a electronic heart detector, so an ECG, which is the little graph that you can see at the top there. I successfully applied it across my body without electrocuting myself, which is how I'm still here. So that was a big plus. And then you can see the hand with the markers that we showed in the GATE lab. So this was actually an extra project that I enrolled in outside of my degree. And I would encourage you to do that as well, to really explore the topics that you see in the lectures that interest you. Reach out to the lecturers, see if there's a project going on within the university or whether they can point you towards a colleague, and they'll be able to let you see kind of behind the curtain. And it's a way to test whether you really are passionate about something before you enter the workforce, as a way to figure out what kind of a pathway in a job you would like. We've also got some collision avoidance through infrared sensors with the hexapod that we met in the robotics lab earlier, and then some extracurricular activities. Now, that doesn't look like a body, that is a boat. So even though I was biomedical, I still joined a different club that was focused on robotics specifically, and my role in this was to do a little bit of 3D modelling on a very small component that contributed to the overall model of the boat, so that it could be calculated of what kind of a force when a wave hit it would go through the boat, what would happen, and then more broadly, this is an autonomous surface vessel, which means that it can drive itself, and Jonathan can talk about it much more than I can, but this is a project that actually went to Hawaii, and it can launch projectiles into a target and self-navigate, so very, very cool to be exposed to. And then, of course, the extracurricular activities. So outside of the classroom, I'm really passionate about my sport. So I joined the volleyball and squash club. So the volleyball picture you can see was actually taken when I was representing Flinders University and more broadly South Australia at the National Uni Games competition hosted in Adelaide for the year that I joined it. And then the squash photo is a more recent pennant competition that's locally hosted here. So lots of opportunities in and outside of the classroom. Now, my map isn't as big as Jodie's, but I was also fortunate enough to go overseas throughout my degree. These were two separate opportunities, both fully funded by the Australian government through the New Colombo Plan, which is designed to enable Australian students to build up connections with the Indo-Pacific region. So I was fortunate enough to receive $10,000 of collective funding across the two opportunities to send me to Malaysia for 3 weeks, where I got to learn about the science technology capabilities of the National University of Malaysia, and then also included a field trip to Langkawi. And then later down the track, I did my practicum at Nanyang Polytechnic in Singapore. So the really important placement opportunity that John was mentioning earlier was one that allowed me to go overseas. I was looking at facial recognition, so I was branching out into a more software-focused idea, which I hadn't explored at university, but that ultimately led to my job as a data scientist because the project incorporated machine learning in there. So despite going overseas and knowing that I wouldn't be able to be offered a job there, it did lead to my graduate role. And then Singapore itself was incredible. I'm part of now an alumni network of Flinders graduates that have been to Nanyang Polytechnic. So that picture that you can see on the bottom right is actually all the students in my cohort and the ones that had come before me. And there are a few missing of ones that have come after me. So hopefully soon, now that restrictions are easing, these opportunities will come back again and you'll be able to build your own connections internationally. And then taking through the journey of my final year of university. So my master's project was respiratory rehabilitation through an assistive electronic trumpet. So by this time in my degree, I'd trialed a few robotics topics, I'd trialed a few electronics, a few programming, and a few biomedical. And what I'd discovered is I had a passion for rehabilitation and assistive technology. So that was my focus. And the concept behind this was, how can I introduce music into a group of people that don't necessarily have fine motor control? So the ability to do this, which is required for almost every musical instrument. So I came up with the idea of a trumpet, which you could breathe into or out of, and then that would replicate the sounds of a trumpet, but fully through electronics and just the pressure that you're generating in your mouth. I also doubled it as a rehabilitation device by mimicking an incentive spirometer. So this is a little bit hard to see, but on the slide, in the slide, is a plastic device that you hold and you take a big breath into, and then a float rises that enables your lungs to expand, and this is to help reduce, creating a problem after some sort of surgery in the abdominal or thoracic region. And the concept behind this was to add music, add gamification, make it a little bit more fun, because the biggest problem with this device is that it was very, very poorly used because it wasn't enjoyable. So this was a real harmony between my passion as a musician as well as someone that wanted to create opportunities for hobbies in different sorts of areas. And then I was fortunate enough to be selected to go to Melbourne and present there. And again, that was a funded opportunity through the Society of Medical and Biological Engineers, which has ties with Flinders University as well. So opportunities to be sponsored, to travel, share your research and meet other people. Then graduated, finished, no idea what I wanted to do, no idea where I could work. Turned out to be a bit harder than I expected getting a job. I really wanted to do biomedical engineering and follow that path, but I was open to different sorts of opportunities as well. And I knew data science was an up and coming field, and I knew that it was also very multidisciplinary. So you can see here, these aren't all one thing. This is a group of many, many different opportunities that have all been condensed into what was my graduate program through being a consultant. So I was lucky enough to work on mining projects, I was working on defence, agriculture, construction, and then quite a lot of image and object recognition and detection as well. So we've got satellite imagery of Adelaide Oval there. We've got a product that is able to detect where a vineyard is in South Australia and then analyse the water content of the leaves to determine the crop health information. And then also we've got acoustic signal analysis. So this is where you can hear a sound. You can then model that so that it looks like an image in something called a spectrogram, and then eventually identify the core components of that and then differentiate it between different sounds. So these are all things I did with no experience prior. I hadn't even programmed in the language that I ended up using. So this was in Python, which is now what you guys learn in first year. But up until that point, I'd never done machine learning, never done Python, never done real sort of image analysis apart from the little placements. So this was an opportunity where I was able to just jump in, apply what I'd learnt, but then ultimately I was really missing that biomedical aspect, which is why I came back to begin my PhD. So my focus is in music therapy and virtual reality for stroke rehabilitation. And it was, for me, the chance to completely define a project that no one had done before, that could make a real difference in other people's lives, and something that I would be the first person to test and really design the way that I envision and have support across the university to do so. Now, one of the big questions is, why did I come back to Flinders specifically? So I had a fantastic undergraduate experience. I'd been all around the world, but the core thing really was supervisor support. So going through the degree, at any time I wanted to follow up, ask a question, I was concerned or I wanted to join a different research group, I found all the academics really welcoming and supportive, and I had a really good master's supervision group, and ultimately came back to those same supervisors. And that was something that definitely had a strong input into my decision, because I knew that I'd be well looked after. I wasn't taking a risk going to a different university or a different group. Something else is I do have casual employment through the university. So in my final year, I was a tutor and a student ambassador, and I've now been reinstated into both of those roles. And that was something else where it kind of helped on the financial side. I had that confidence I'd be able to come back and remain supported. And the final point is Dr. Beltrami does sound very cool, which I'm sure you can all agree. And I hope that's what I'll be introduced as in the next few years. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Okay. So, back to the flow gravy train. So we've all had a look at flow, and there is a little video. It doesn't go for very long. We might play it in a tick. We're running out a little bit short on time. But what I will also mention, as well as your topic flow pages for the particular topics that you're enrolled in, there is actually going to be coming online tomorrow a course flow page for the particular course that you are enrolled in. So if you're enrolled in the Bachelor of Information Technology or the Master of Information Technology, there will be a page just for you that will give you information about your course and activities that are going on in your course, links to student services, links to the clubs and all those sorts of different things, and links to support services. So that'll be coming online tomorrow, that'll be live tomorrow. You'll only see the material that's relevant to your degree, so it won't be cluttered up with all sorts of stuff that's not necessary for you. I don't know how long this goes for. We will see if it's going to...
Hi, my name is William. Today I'm going to talk to you about Flinders Learning Online, or Flow. We recommend you get familiar with Flow early on, as you're going to be using it throughout your studies here at Flinders. Flow is Flinders' online learning platform and provides a range of interactive tools that support your learning. You can access Flow through your student dashboard. Each topic you are enrolled in will have its own topic page in Flow. These pages are usually in Flow 1 week before teaching starts. The appearance and structure of pages in Flow will vary from topic to topic, but they all contain similar tools and information. There is a range of information and resources available in each of your topic pages, including assignment guidelines, lecture recordings, readings, forums, and quizzes. Flow is also used to submit your assignments, view your grades, and get assessment feedback. In addition, Flow also contains non-topic pages to support your studies, such as the Student Learning Centre and library quiz pages. The Flow Help Desk is available online, over the phone, or in person. There is also a link to Flow Help wherever you are in Flow. If you have any specific questions about your topic, you can also contact your topic coordinator.
Okay, so there was one little thing in there that mentioned that all of the Flow topic pages might look different. Well, that is not the case anymore. They all have a standard look and feel now, so no matter what topic you're in, the layout will be the same, so it's not like you're going to have to re-navigate for every topic that you do, and that will include also the course page. Flinders Friends. I don't think there's anybody from Flinders Friends here. But they do a lot of weekly events starting in weeks 1 to 5 for you guys to get involved with. You can register on the Flinders website, on the Flinders Friends website. And basically it's students for students. So you can get perspectives from students, designed and run by students for the students. And this is their schedule for, go back, please. Go back. So week 1, meet and greet, and then weeks 2, 3 and 4, there's some meetups, and then in week 5, there's a quiz night on the 23rd of August in the Flinders Tavern. It's a 2-hour event. So for those of you who want to venture up to Bedford Park and wander around the campus and go to the hub up there, there is a lot of the Flinders Friends events in that particular area for you to join in. The last thing that I'll mention before we try and take some questions, if we've got some, no questions? Okay, we might have some questions from the audience, is about the STEM Ambassador Program. It gives you online and on-campus support. I'm not sure whether this was what Thomas was on about, the STEM Ambassadors. Is it different or is it the same thing? Yep. So they can give you student academic support with assignments and study, exam prep, those sorts of things. And they can also help you with the transition to university life. We also have 2 people on the ground down here at Tonsley this semester, in Eleanor and Jonathan, to fulfil that role on the Tonsley campus. So they're go-to people that you can actually go and talk to about these sorts of things, to connect with services, student services, health and counselling, student learning centre, Studiosity, and of course, Jose's team from the Internationals office will also be down here to fill in that gap. Now, there is something in there. There is a flow page. If you want to be added to the flow page for the Student Ambassador Program, you might be going to get involved to become a Student Ambassador while for your time here at Flinders University. Just contact tessa.lane@flinders.edu.au and she will actually get you added to the Flow Ambassadors page, and then you can sort of become down that track. Okay, well, I think we've run out of time. It's midday and look, people are starting to look a little bit hungry. So, and no questions from online. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask before we wander off to lunch? I see Rocco up the back's got a question. Nobody has any questions? All right, then we'll wrap it up and we'll go back up to level 1, I believe, where we registered, and we'll have some lunch and a bit of a mingle, and you can have a chat to your course coordinators and ask any questions in a more informal sort of manner. And thank you very much for attending, and again, welcome to Flinders, and looking forward to a really happy, productive and successful semester. Okay, thank you.